Hi folks, welcome back to the show We the People. I'm Dave Gallus, your host. We're here at the Las Cruces studios, and I have a very special guest today, my good friend Juan Garcia. He is the chairman of CCIA. CIA, that sounds real governmental, but it's not governmental. It's for the people, and it means Coalition of Conservatives in Action. So Juan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dave.
It's great to have you back on board.
Thank you.
It's a great organization. Now, I was part of the Hispanic Conservative Outreach Committee in the beginning when we were trying to reach out to the Hispanic community, which is basically 70% of our citizens here in Doña Ana County, and yet it doesn't seem like they were being informed. So we wanted to do that outreach for that. But now, and at that time, Isabella Solis, my former county commissioner, was the chairwoman of the Hispanic Conservative Outreach Committee, but she has moved on to bigger things because she's running for lieutenant governor. And I want to give Isabella a thumbs up, running for lieutenant governor. I hope she gets it. She's a good, solid conservative and traditional values person. So, but when Isabella had to move on, we needed a new chairperson. And you were gracious enough to accept our desire for you to run as chairman, and you're doing a great job. And so can you give us a little bit of background about, you morphed into CCIA, Coalitions for Conservatives in Action. So tell us about your background and how you got into this.
Yes. So I retired. I spent 25 years in the Marine Corps.
In the Marine Corps. Thank you for your service, Juan.
Thank you. And afterwards, I served about 22 years with a defense contractor. 2018, I retired. About 6-8 months ago, it seems like a lifetime, but about 8 months ago, I think I joined ACLC with you and Isabella,
right,
and some of the other group. Then I think it was around the summertime, we basically transitioned away from the ACLC, and we became a broader organization, where instead of our primary focus being Hispanics, we opened up to pro-life, to crime, local politics, school board, and so forth, which are our action committees. By doing that, we have a wider umbrella, wider tent, if you may, that allows us to reach more people. Right. And a lot of people have different priorities.
I remember talking to some folks early on, and I said, come to the meetings, and they said, well, it's for Hispanics. I said, no. It's for everybody, but our focus was to reach out to the people that haven't been connected with. So, but I'm glad to see that you've expanded into everybody.
Correct.
Nonpartisan.
In addition to that, we have 5 different committees, action committees, and one of them is Hispanic outreach.
Right.
I mean, that hasn't gone away. We focus more on issues that affect you and I.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Right. Okay. Sure. Well, that's great. Now, I'd like to read the mission statement that you have. I pulled this off the website. Folks, you got to go to this website. It's conservativesinaction.org, conservativesinaction.org, and I'll probably put it up on the screen there. It's got so much information. You have any questions whatsoever about elected officials, policies that are going on, school board, city council, county commissioners, everything that you need to know is at this website. And the mission statement is to challenge, engage, and hold accountable elected and appointed officials by an educated and informed citizenry through civil discourse in order to effect change. You know, you're putting out this information, Juan, and it's so important that you do, but the people have to go and seek this information. This is where you can educate them. Because if people aren't educated, they're subject to whatever the government wants to do.
I totally agree, and it's a two-way street. Okay, we don't have the answers. We don't have all the answers. This organization is people like you and I. You learn something, you see something, you share something.
So we find the answers together.
Exactly.
Okay, and you listen to people. It's not like it's an autocracy where you just have a few powerful people at the top.
No.
And I know you guys listen because I see the way that you solicit information at the meetings. And to explain, on the website it says who we are. We are an American First grassroots action organization of independent, nonpartisan, colorblind, I like that, conservative citizens. Our foundation is based on faith, family, and freedom. And to me, faith, that's your first word there, that's why we're in trouble in this country, because we threw God out. Now,
Correct.
I hope we bring him back, because if we don't, we're going down. So So it's a great organization, and I also going on the website, your website is interactive with the public.
Correct.
So people can actually call in, or I'm sorry, connect with the website and make suggestions, ask questions. You can register to vote. You can check your registration.
But let me interrupt you for a second, if I could, Dave.
Sure.
Let's go back to what you were talking about as far as our mission statement, who we are. Mm-hmm. We take a lot of pride in the independence. We're not affiliated with any of the parties.
Okay.
We are affiliated with ourselves.
So you're not being pushed around by anybody.
Nobody pushes us around. We're a nonprofit. The only few dollars that we have is whatever membership fees we can collect.
Maybe pay for the coffee or something.
Maybe pay for the coffee, buy the, one ads or whatever the case is.
Right.
So we're totally independent. And anybody that wants to join us, as long as they can behave, have civil discourse like we have there, mm-hmm. that believe in what we're trying to do, but even more important, that they want to be involved and do something, right. instead of just talk.
No, we need workers. We've always needed workers. You always have 10% of the people do 90% of the work,
exactly.
and that has to change.
Right.
And that includes voting.
That's correct.
So if we don't vote, we have no say whatsoever. So, so much information you can get from this. You can check your registration, you can register to vote, you can find your legislators, and it's not just find the name of the legislators, but you have contact information of the legislators. You also have the ability, if something changes, it might take a long time for the county to update who the new legislators are or whatever, and you have that information.
So one of the things that we have is an Excel spreadsheet, and again, it's interactive, so to speak, because we put it together. It has our local candidates, our local officials, we have school board officials, we have state officials. But let's go back to what we were talking about. It's inaction, okay? Mm-hmm. I can't update that spreadsheet 24/7.
Right.
But if you know something that's changed or he knows something that's changed, send it to me, we'll update. Yeah. It's about working together.
Okay. And I know that you do vet the information once you get
yes.
it to make sure that
it's
what
accurate.
you put out is accurate. So you have copies of the U.S. Constitution and the New Mexico State Constitution. So important, folks. It's like a library at your hand. You've got district maps. People will know what district they're in. And that, I think, is going to change soon because of the census,
yes,
redistricting. You even got Vote for 11, and that's the League of Women Voters that puts this out. And this is, you can see what's on your ballot when you have an upcoming election, find your polling place, debates that are scheduled that the League of Women Voters debate. Even at this studio here, our manager, he sets up debates between candidates, and it's really a good forum. So you can get that information here. And like I said, contact information for the local officials. And I really like this one called the Knowledge Box. Now, the Knowledge Box is public information on current local and national news that affects us. So that's an interaction too as well. That's like you've got reporters out there.
Actually, the Knowledge Box is probably my favorite
okay.
of all the different pages we have there, because that's information that either I find, members find, or I get from somebody. We make sure it's obviously proper, and it's public information. But it's a place where you can go to and look at the different topics, and you can just kind of scroll down. And if it's of interest to you, you click it, download it, read it, whatever you want to do. Mm-hmm. And we make sure that it doesn't get too stale by replacing it about every 2 weeks.
Okay.
So we stay current.
Yeah, folks, you got to go on. It's Conservatives in Action, all one word, conservativesinaction.org. Check out the website. And you've got weekly bulletins that are going on there, so you
yes.
know what's happening. It's information, I think, that your members as well as your staff actually puts information out.
So let me share on this, because one of our members, actually our secretary, Sandra, that was one of her big, things to do. She got us going in that direction. So basically, it's kind of like a Reader's Digest. Mm. It's a compilation of what's happened over the last week. We solicit op-eds from the different members. If this is what I'm thinking, I want to share this with the membership. So we collect them. And we publish it once a week.
That's great. And you have an events calendar, so as things come up. Oh, And again, folks, Thursday night, 6 p.m. every Thursday at Kitchen Craft. It's over on Telshore. It's right next to Rudy's Barbecue and the McDaniels. I mean, David and Stephanie McDaniels are great. They host the CCIA meetings. They're so good at allowing CCIA to have the meetings there. It's like a family. And you go to these meetings, and I think I don't know how often, but you do have potlucks.
We try about once a month.
That's nice. That's nice.
Month, yes.
Well, food always brings in people, and it always loosens your tongue, too. So,
well, in addition to that, Dave, we have guest speakers. We've had ranging from the superintendent, a school board member, Mr. Ramos. We've had a state police captain come in and speak to us.
Right.
And just last week we had one of the counselors, Councilor Gandara, that came in and spoke to us. Last night we had Zeke Rodriguez, candidate for lieutenant governor. Mm-hmm. So we don't. I don't want to use the word discriminate, but anybody that wants to come and talk to us and inform our members is welcome.
Yeah, and I noticed too that I was at one meeting where you had the competition of one of your members who was running for school board, and you had his competition come in. And at first it was like, whoa, wait a minute, this isn't a good idea. But I see what you're doing is you're fair to everybody. You allowed the school board president, Jaramillo, and the superintendent, Baca, I think, Ramos,
yes.
To speak. And that was very gracious of you. And it's not about us versus them. It's not about Republican versus Democrat. It's about everybody talking and speaking in a civil discourse. So
if our members can learn 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 things that they did not know before that individual or individuals come in, mm-hmm. to me it's worth it.
Sure it is.
Because again, part of our mission is to educate our citizens.
Sure. I mean, and it's not to beat anybody up.
No,
it's just to find out what are their policies, what do they want. And bringing in officials that are running for office is a very good thing. And you said you had the fellow running for lieutenant governor?
Zeke Rodriguez, he was there last night.
Okay.
He spoke for almost an hour. It was a Q&A type.
Well, it's so nice that you offer him that opportunity.
Absolutely. And in the members, I think we had about 30 members yesterday or last night. They grilled them. They asked questions. I mean, and he knew coming into the meeting last night that they were going to ask questions, and that's important.
Sure.
Because to use the word accountable, we hold everybody accountable.
Good.
Whether they're Republican or Democrat, it doesn't make any difference.
Good. That's great. The events calendar, so you can see what's going on. And I would suggest, folks, that you go to the website, conservativesinaction.org, and check out the membership or the leadership. There's a story, or not a story, but it's the biography of Juan. How I believe it explains how you got started, which folks will see that today. But all of your leadership in the organization. So I really like that. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, I'd like to talk about the different committees that you have and how important they are. To me, voter integrity is so important, and that's one of them, but we'll talk about that. So we'll come back after a short break, and we're here with Juan Garcia, chairman of CCIA Conservatives, a coalition, Conservatives in Action. We'll be back after a short break.
Redness, burning, itchy feet. You may be suffering from athlete's foot and be eligible for a clinical trial. 3A Research is conducting a clinical trial of an investigational drug for treating athlete's foot. This is a 6-week study. We will compensate your time, travel, and reimbursement of up to $225. Contact our office, 3A Research with Michael Raucci.
Call our offices today for more information. Serving El Paso and now open in Las Cruces. I hope to see you soon.
Did you know children should have their first comprehensive eye exam at 6 months of age and every 1 to 2 years afterwards? Unfortunately, most children have not had an eye exam. While there are many reasons children haven't been to an eye doctor, the ability to pay for the exam is not one of them. Medicaid or most private insurances cover the cost of the exam and glasses. And if they don't, New Mexico Lion's Operation KidSight has funding available, so it's free for the family.
Hi, I'm Ray Bamberg with Here on Earth. I would like to invite you for a free hearing evaluation to our office. We've been here in southern New Mexico for 34 years helping people hear better.
Hi folks, this is Dave Gallus. I'm here and We the People is the name of the show. We're here with Juan Garcia at the Las Cruces Channel Studios. Juan, you are the chairman of the CCIA, Coalition of Conservatives in Action.
Correct.
And we talked about your background, your 25 years in the Marines. Thank you again for your service. So important that we thank our vets, folks. They don't get recognized enough, certainly with this administration. But so this organization is a lot of fun. I've been to some of the meetings. I used to belong to the HCOC, which is the, what would you say, the parent organization that started to reach out to Hispanics. But now, really, it's not just Hispanics. It's to everybody. And irregardless of your party affiliation or anything like that, it's a place to go and have fun, listen to opinions, give your opinion in a civil discourse, and learn, get educated. So we were talking about the different committees you have. And again, go to the website, Conservatives in Action, all one word, conservativesinaction.org, and look at this website. And one of the big parts that I like a lot is the action committees, the key word being action, because they're moving and doing things. So your action committee. Now, the one that I like most importantly is election integrity, because I think we have such a low voter turnout because people think, what's the sense? They're crooked elections. And they might be, but we have people working on that, especially in your organization, election integrity, that election integrity committee.
Correct. So Dave, so what we have with the election integrity is more towards the education.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know what the elections are. Some people don't know what district they live in.
Yeah.
Some people don't know who their candidates are. So that's one of our focal areas when it comes to election integrity. In addition to that, if I can touch on the others, we have local politics and crime. I mean, they affect you and I.
Right, sure.
We have right to life and the faith outreach.
Right.
We have Hispanic outreach.
Okay.
And we have a very critical one, which is board and school board and education.
Yeah, that's a big
We've been
topic, boy.
extremely active in that arena.
Good.
So when we go down the list, we talk about what affects and impacts every single one of us in some way, shape, or form.
Sure. Now, I don't mean to beat up on election integrity, but I know a lot of people think that we don't have fair and honest elections, so why even bother voting? But we have such a low voter turnout that you can't do anything unless you get out to vote. Now, there are people that are working, and I'm one of them, that is working on keeping the politicians honest and the elections fair and honest. And that's, know that there's people out there doing this. So you have to do your part, which is vote. And the right to life, I mean, I think that's where in your bylaws, your mission statement, it's faith, family, and freedom.
Correct.
And so important to have, and I think most of the people in our area are faith-based people.
Yes.
We've got 90 churches, I think, in Las Cruces alone, or something like that. So these are people of faith. We just have to put that in action.
That's correct. And the other thing, too, is so many people that I run into, they talk to me and they ask me, says, we didn't know that you existed. We feel like we don't have any place to go. Well, our group is everybody, and it's people like you and I and so forth. But the thing about it that we want to focus on is, what are you doing today? I try to ask every week of the members, what did you do this week that could impact what we're trying to accomplish? And some folks kind of look at me, and some folks raise their hand, whether it be sharing an article, whether it be talking, whether it be recruiting, whether it be protesting, of course, peacefully, whether it be attending a meeting, whether it be bringing another guest. What did you do?
That's good.
And
That's
if you sit there and say, well, I didn't do anything, then
do you whack them with a stick?
Well,
no, I know you don't.
So we say, so where's the problem at? Or who is the problem?
Good question.
But
it's apathy. I think people want to some people want to sit over a beer and complain or have a cup of coffee and complain. That doesn't do it.
And a lot of people maybe just don't know what to do or how to get involved. But when they come and join us, we probably spend, 15, 20, 30 minutes after our meetings with people talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see, you want to call it a social gathering afterwards, whatever the case is. But this is an opportunity to ask the questions, get to know others, see how you can collaborate with some of the leadership to get things done.
Yeah, I've been to the meetings, folks, and they're a lot of fun. And in some meetings, if it's an obligation, when the meeting's over, people shoot for the doors. Not this place. People, you got to throw them out. Now, Stephanie and David McDaniels, who offer the kitchen craft for the meetings, that's on Telshore, right next to Rudy's Barbecue. Go Thursday night, 6 p.m. You'll enjoy yourself. You'll meet a lot of nice people. They have to probably flip the lights off and on to get people out because they want to stay.
Actually, last night, it was almost 9 o'clock before we left.
Oh,
and I left around 9 o'clock, and there were still some folks talking there,
Yeah.
which is great.
The McDaniels are so generous and so understanding and so willing to offer the services of their property for this. And it's a good group of people. And like you said, it's nonpartisan. Everybody's welcome. A civil discourse. School board, boy, this is big.
Yes.
Because right now, there's a lot of people that are upset about the way the school board has been handling the education of our kids. What's more important than that?
So one of the things that we've done, Dave, going back to the action committees, we have leaders for each of these individual groups.
Okay.
And I know like Rick Renaud is one of the leaders, is the leader, in fact, for the education.
Right.
And what he does is he reaches into the members, he stays in touch with what's going on with the school board to be able to keep everybody informed. Not only that, but also helps develop a plan and then an execution, whether it be, protest, whether it be speak, whatever the case might be.
Yeah, peaceful protest.
Peaceful protest.
Yeah, Rick Renaud. Yeah, Rick's a good guy.
And so that's our organization. And then when you talk about our website, I encourage people to look at how we're organized so that we can be most effective and efficient in what we're trying to do.
And I'm sure you solicit suggestions from people too.
Of course.
Yeah. I would say, folks, make sure you get to one of these meetings. And once you get to one of these meetings, I'm sure you're going to want to come back. Thursday night on Telshore. It's at Kitchen Craft. Stephanie and David McDaniels are the hosts who own the business. 6 o'clock, right next to Rudy's Barbecue. And you are going to enjoy yourself. And you're going to be informed. And you probably can have some input so you can inform the organization.
That is correct.
So the Hispanic Outreach Committee. To me that's very important because I think a lot of Hispanics, although they may be registered Democrats, and I'm not saying partisan, but I'm just saying that the Democratic Party, from what I've seen, has been going progressive, which is socialist, which is getting close to communism. And I don't think really good, solid people that really understand what's been happening to the Democratic Party would still continue in that vein and support that.
Correct.
And I'm not saying you have to register Republican. You can register anything you want. But if you vote your traditional values, I think most of the time it's going to come out on the conservative side.
If you approach people based on their values instead of the party,
Right.
the party comes later. Okay?
I understand.
Because once people realize that their values are conservative, that they're pro-country, pro-God, along those lines, then all of a sudden they say, wait a minute, I'm not a Democrat. So that's why we don't talk party at our meetings.
I know.
And I think that's part of the reason why we have good turnouts and good engagement is because we focus on the essentials.
And I've seen a lot of people, and again, I'm not trying to dissuade people from being Democrat, but there are so many people that I know. Isabella Solis used to be a Democrat, and she switched to Republican because she could no longer, her conservative values no longer fit that party itself.
Correct.
But like you said, vote the values, not the party.
Right.
So all these are great, but if people don't get engaged, how good is it?
That's correct.
I mean, you can't be sitting on your hands, folks. You got to get out and you got to get engaged. And this organization can help you get educated as to what's going on. And, you feel when you get engaged in something like this, you feel like you're working towards a good goal. And it makes you feel good. And you're going to find that you're around people that are like-minded. And that camaraderie really helps you move forward, having a great day, feeling like you accomplished something. You even said, you challenge the people at the meetings, what have you done this past week?
That's right.
That's a tough question, but it's a good question, because if they don't run away, it makes them think the following week, maybe I need to do something.
But before I ask, I always say, this is what I did.
Ah, that's a good point.
Okay.
Right.
And this is my 1 or 2 actions for this week that I did or more. And we go down the list.
That's leadership.
That's the way to do it.
That's good. That's the best way to lead. Now, so people are always welcome to come to these meetings on Thursday night at Kitchen Craft. And then if the people really like what they hear, can they become members?
Yes, absolutely. So they come in as guests. We give them an opportunity, a minute, maybe 2, to say, hey, I am here because my name is so-and-so. Introduce themselves. Right? Some come once, some come 2 or 3 times, and they become members. Some, I never see them again for whatever reason it is.
Sure.
And then there's some that are joined as members the first night they're there.
Okay.
So it's about everybody's got their own way of doing things, however they want to be. We don't try to force anything. We don't try to compel anything other than to get off your seat and do something.
Well, that's it. In action. That's the key word. Well,
yes.
Juan, we're out of time. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you. I will be going to some of your meetings when I can. And folks, Thursday night, 6 p.m., Conservatives, a coalition of conservatives in action. It's at the Kitchen Craft on Telshore, next to Rudy's Barbecue. And go to the website, conservativesinaction.org. So next week, we'll have another great guest on. Maybe not as great as Juan, but we'll see what we can do. So see you next week. This is Dave Gallis from We the People, signing off. Went a little long.
Good.
Redness, burning, itchy feet. You may be suffering from athlete's foot and be eligible for a clinical trial. 3A Research is conducting a clinical trial of an investigational drug for treating athlete's foot. This is a 6-week study. We will compensate your time, travel, and reimbursement of up to $225. Contact our office, 3A Research with Michael Raucci.
Call our offices today for more information. Serving El Paso and now open in Las Cruces. I hope to see you soon.
Hi, I'm Dr. Thomas Kuntz. Did you know that 80% of all learning occurs visually? Meaning children with poor vision are at a major disadvantage. In New Mexico, children 9 years of age and younger receive a vision screening at the beginning of each school year. Approximately 1 out of every 5 of these children fail the screening and then are referred to an eye doctor for a comprehensive eye exam. Unfortunately, 35 to 40% of these children that are referred never receive their eye exam. While there are many reasons why they don't, the ability to pay for the exam is not one of them. Medicaid or most private insurances cover the exam and glasses, and if they do not, New Mexico Alliance Operation Kit site has funding available, so it's free for the family. Please schedule your child's eye exam today.
If your loved one has passed away due to COVID-19, pay close attention to this message. You could be entitled to a death benefit of over $300,000. The U.S. government has set up a fund to pay families relief if they've lost a loved one due to COVID-19. The compensation includes a death benefit and lost wages benefit. Time is limited, so we urge you to make a free phone call right now. There's no cost to you for this claim. That's 866-372-3669.
Hi, I'm Ray Bamberg with Here on Earth. I would like to invite you for a free hearing evaluation to our office. We've been here in southern New Mexico for 34 years helping people hear better.
Welcome to What is Truth Brought to you by the Southern New Mexico Church of God in Las Cruces, New Mexico. What is Truth is a weekly program which seeks to focus our attention on the truth of God's Word. Now, with this week's lesson, here's Pastor Meyer Stahl.
Welcome to the program. I'm Meyer Stahl, the pastor of the Southern New Mexico Church of God, bringing you the program, What is Truth? And our topic today is, do you have an immortal soul? Now, before we get started on the program, I want to offer you two very important free booklets, absolutely free. We never ask the public for money. The first booklet is, What Kind of Faith is Required for Salvation? And at the bottom of that booklet, it says, do you know millions who actually believe in Jesus Christ have no salvation at all because they trust in the wrong kind of faith? And the second booklet is, What do you mean salvation? It's a companion booklet. And at the bottom of that booklet, it says, do you really realize that not 1 in 100 knows what it is, how to get it, when you receive it? Don't be too sure you do. Here, once and for all, is the truth made so plain, you will really understand it. Okay, so all you need to do is call us at area code 575-650-7359. We'll send them right out to you. And we never send literature out that's unasked for. So we'll never keep piling literature at you. We don't do that. Now let's get started with the program. And it's an interesting question. Do you have an immortal soul? There are many churches today that teach you do have an immortal soul, that you're going to be in heaven for all eternity, or you're going to be in hell, the lake of fire, for all eternity. You have an immortal soul. That's what they teach. But is it true? That's the important thing. Is it true? And that's my purpose today. My purpose today is to prove that it's not true. So please get a paper and a pen and your Bible out and follow these scriptures, and you'll see that the Bible teaches that it's not true. Now, the Bible, what other source would you use other than the Bible? What other source? Someone's word? All right. John 17, verse 17 says, sanctify them by thy truth. Thy word is truth. The word of God is true. So let's look at Genesis chapter 2, and we're going to look at verse 7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So man is a living soul, and the Hebrew word for soul is nephesh. And it has a lot of meanings, and you can look it up for yourself and understand it. But when Satan deceived Eve, and she gave the fruit to her husband, and he ate it, they both broke God's commandment. And God said, because you broke my commandment, dust you are, and to dust you shall return. And that's the end of you. When you die, that's the end. Why didn't God say that because you broke my commandment, you're going to burn forever in an ever-burning fire? You're going to suffer forever? Why didn't God say that? Sanctify them by thy soul, thy truth, through thy truth. Thy word is truth. The word of God is true. You can depend on it. Okay? That's dependable. It's all true. Now, what other book can you say is all true except the Bible? We're going to Ezekiel chapter 18. And let's look at Ezekiel 18, and we'll look at verse 4. And it says here, behold, all souls are mine. And that's the Greek word, that's the same word, nephesh. All nepheshes are mine. Or as the soul of the Father, so as the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sins, it shall die. So souls can die. And let's drop down to verse 20. The soul that sins, it shall die. The Son shall not bear the iniquity of the Father, neither shall the Father bear the iniquity of the Son. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him. So it says it twice. The soul that sins, it shall die. Well, what is death? Death is the absence of life. It's not burning forever in an ever-burning hell. Dying is the absence of life. All right, let's go to the next scripture. Matthew chapter 10. We'll go to Jesus' own words, right out of his mouth. In Matthew chapter 10, we'll go to verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul. So don't be afraid of people who could kill your body, but they're not able to kill the soul. But rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. That's Gehenna. That's Gehenna fire. All right? Who is able to destroy both soul and body in hell? That's God. God can do it. Man cannot destroy your soul, but God can. He could destroy it where? In the fire of Gehenna. It's destroyed. That's the end of it. Let's go now to the next scripture, and we'll go to Malachi chapter 4, verse 1. For behold, the day comes that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yes, and all the wickedly shall be stubble. They're going to be like food for the fire. And the day that comes shall burn them up. They're going to be burned up, says the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. But unto you who fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and you shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. and you shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, says the Lord of hosts. Remember you the law of Moses, my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel with the statutes and judgments. Let me ask you a question. You are in heaven. You have been saved. You're in heaven. You're with Jesus Christ. You're with God. You're with all of the angels, all of the people all the saints, and now your loved ones are in hell. They're burning up, but they're never quite burned up. They're in pain. They're suffering for all eternity. Would that make you happy? Of course not. Of course it wouldn't make you happy. All right, what about all the people who have been deceived by Satan? We'll turn there in a few moments. There are 1,250,000,000 Muslims who have been deceived, and they think that their God is the true God. And he's not. Allah is not the God that we worship. Allah is the God of the moon god. And he's the God who hates. If you don't become a Muslim, you get your head cut off. See? So we're going to take a short break. Would you please stay there? Don't leave the program. We have so much more to share with you. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the program. I'm Meyer Stahl, the pastor of the Southern New Mexico Church of God, bringing you the program, What is Truth? Now, in case you tuned in late, you can watch this show over again on YouTube. All you need to do is type in, What is Truth with Meyer Stahl, and you can watch over 500 different programs. So you might see something there, the title, and check the titles out. You might see something there you would like to understand better, and watch it. And you'll be able to watch this program over again, share it with others, and we're going to go back to the question. The question is today is, do you have an immortal soul? And we're going to answer that. We're going to turn to Revelation chapter 20, verse 5. Revelation 20, verse 5. But the rest of the dead live not again until the 1,000 years were finished. Now, where it says this is the first resurrection, that should be part of verse 6, the first part of verse 6. The verses and chapters were put in much later. It wasn't put in when the Bible was written. So where it says this is the first resurrection, let's read that as part of verse 6. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he who has part in the first resurrection. On such the second death has no power, but they shall be priests of God and of Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. So the people in the first resurrection are going to reign or going to rule with Jesus Christ for 1,000 years. Now verse 7. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog. This is China and Russia. These are the Asian type people, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. And they went up on the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about, and the beloved city. And fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. So they're devoured. They're burned up. They're not burning forever. And the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are. Now this word "are" is written in italics. It's not in the original. So when you see a word written in italics, it's not in the original. It was added in to try to make sense out of it. Well, the beast and the false prophet were human beings, and they're burned up. So instead of "are," it should have been "were." And shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. Who's going to be tormented day and night forever and ever? Satan. Satan is cast into the lake of fire. All right? And I saw a great white throne, and him who sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were opened. Well, wait a minute. Let's stop here. I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God. How can the dead, small and great, stand before God? We're stopping here. How can they do that? They were resurrected. They were brought back to human life. They had a second chance at life, but only one chance at salvation. They were given that chance, but they didn't take it. And consequently, they're being judged. Let's see what happens. Verse 12. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God. They came up in the second resurrection. I know the Bible doesn't use the word second, but it do use the word first. And whenever you have the word first, you have to have at least another one. The firstborn is the firstborn. There are others born after him. And the books were opened. And another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged. The dead were judged out of those things which are written in the books according to their works. So works count, okay? They were judged according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead. Well, this is the second resurrection. And death and hell, that's the grave, delivered up the dead, which were in them. And they were judged every man according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. All right? Now, this is the second death, and this should be part of verse 15. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. What is the second death? The second death is those who were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death, should be part of verse 15. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. There you are. The second death. Well, what's the first death? The first death is the absence of life. You die, and you're put in the grave, and your body decays, and that's the end. That's the first death. Well, what's the second death? Same thing. You're burned up as if you were going through, as if you were cremated, and you're burned up and there's ashes. And the Bible clearly says that the wicked shall be ashes under our feet in Malachi chapter 4. So we have the story here so we can understand it. Where did this teaching come from? Of that you're burning up in an ever-burning hell. Well, it came from the Greeks. The Greek had plays, and one of the plays was Dante's Inferno. And in Dante's Inferno, you had various compartments of people who were being burned up, but they weren't being burned up. They were suffering. They were going through suffering. And the different compartments, one was upside down, burning up. Others were in various stages of being burned up, but never quite burning up. And it came from a play, from Dante's Inferno. Now, the Roman Church took that as doctrine. They didn't get this doctrine out of the Bible of forever burning up in an ever-burning hell. They got it from a play. And many of the Protestant groups today also teach the same thing. It's a big error. And it's such a shame that people are confused. And it is an area of confusion. And suppose your loved one is being burned up forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Would that make you happy? Of course not. Of course not. I asked you that before, so I asked it again. So the Bible nowhere teaches that you have an immortal soul. The soul that sins, it shall die. Jesus himself said that the same thing, that he's able to destroy both body and soul in Gehenna fire. So that should answer the question. Now, we're on YouTube. Please check our channel on YouTube. It's What is Truth with Meyer Stahl. And just type in What is Truth with Meyer Stahl, and you can watch over 500 programs. Now let's go to the other side of the question. All right, the booklets. We have the booklets. What kind of faith is required for salvation? And the second booklet is, what what do you mean salvation? Now, what is more important to you than your salvation? What could be more important to you? Let's look here at the bottom of this booklet again. Do you know millions who actually believe in Jesus Christ have no salvation at all because they trust in the wrong kind of faith? And at the bottom of this booklet, what do you mean salvation? It says, what do you mean salvation? It says, do you realize not 1 in 100 knows what it is, how to get it, when you receive it? Don't be too sure you do. Here, once and for all, is the truth made so plain you will really understand it. And you can read these booklets in as little as 10 minutes or 15 minutes and study it along with your Bible. And you'll be able to, we're stopping here, we'll be able to understand what salvation is. It's the most important thing in your life. What you're going to be doing for all eternity. What you're going to be doing for all eternity. What can be more important than that? You tell me. Well, until next time, this is Meyer Stahl of the Southern New Mexico Church of God saying goodbye, my friends.
You have been listening to What is Truth with Pastor Meyer Stahl of the Southern New Mexico Church of God located in Las Cruces, New Mexico. For copies of today's lesson or for more information, call area code 575-650-7359. That's 575-650-7359. Join us next week at this same time for another edition of What is Truth. Until next week, we wish you God's richest blessings.
Redness, burning, itchy feet. You may be suffering from athlete's foot and be eligible for a clinical trial. 3A Research is conducting a clinical trial of an investigational drug for treating athlete's foot. This is a 6-week study. We will compensate your time, travel, and reimbursement of up to $225. Contact our office, 3A Research with Michael Raucci.
Call our offices today for more information. Serving El Paso and now open in Las Cruces. I hope to see you soon.
Hi, I'm Ray Bamberg with Here on Earth. I would like to invite you for a free hearing evaluation to our office. We've been here in Southern New Mexico for 34 years helping people hear better.
From the Oregon Mountains to all the Mesilla Valley, reaching all of New Mexico. Broadcasting live from the Las Cruces studios, bringing you the issues that matter and the topics that count. Telling it like it is. It's the Mike Tejas Show. And now here's your host, Mike Tejas.
Thank you for joining us today. My name is Mike Tejas with the Mike Tejas Show. We are coming to you live from the Las Cruces Channel studios. Today we're going to talk about a few things. We've been talking about the homeless problem that we have in this area, and that isn't new news to anyone. Before we start, I want to mention research. 3A Research has recently moved to the Las Cruces area, and they are doing an experimental testing on psoriasis. And they're testing a new drug for psoriasis. And to participate in this program, if you think you have psoriasis, we got a picture on the screen showing you kind of what it may look like if you're not sure. Just for participating in this study, Not only will you receive a free checkup from a licensed doctor there, and I don't mean just any old checkup, a pretty good one there, free of charge. You'll receive $225 for participating in a program that takes 3 visits. There's only a few openings left. All you got to do is set up 3 visits, go down, try it out, check it out, and you'll receive $225 for your time and travel. All you need to do is call 3A Research at 575-288-1646. You know what? There's no cost to you, and you make a little bit of money for your time. My goodness, if you have psoriasis, not only do you get the chance to possibly see if this works on yours, you also receive $225. I am constantly making sure that I don't have it, because I'd be right there. $225 for a little bit of your time. Where do you get that? That money is just as easy as you could get. Everyone could use $225. I know I definitely can, always can. You know, we've been talking about the homeless problem here in Las Cruces. You know, last week we went over some of the issues, and I asked questions. Why are they here? Where'd they come from? What are they looking for? What do they want? Well, you know, one young man left a comment, and I am so sorry that before we could get the information off it, would delete it out. I'd like for him to respond back. He was concerned about my not being sensitive and not knowing about issues that affect the homeless people, and not being, you know, I was a little bit hard on him. Well, you know what? I would love for you to respond to me again on our email address. They'll show it on the screen. Go to us, the MikeTeasShow@gmail.com. Drop me a message. I want to meet with you. I want to get with you and enlighten me into what I'm missing. Now, you know, they're saying, who am I to say that? I don't know who they are. I don't understand their plight. And why would I talk about something I know nothing about? Well, you know, I don't talk very much about who I am and what I've done, but I will say, for the last 23 years, I've spent my time. I used to own the IHOP restaurant back then. I started with Character Kids Incorporated. We went out and assessed the city, assessed our county to see what some of their needs were. At that time, there was a food problem with the immigrants in the South Valley. I thought it was horrible. They couldn't get food because they weren't citizens. We took it out, and our program went out to the South Valley and started looking at what we could do to help these people get the food they needed to survive and the essentials. We adopted every single school in Las Cruces to make sure there were not students and kids in those schools that needed food, toiletries, clothing, whatever they needed. You know, we went out and we said, we're going to make a difference in our county. We're going to go help our citizens in this county. Our program got out there. We got started. We distributed 50 million tons of food into this region right here. We went into the schools. We made sure every one of those kids were eating. We went out into the streets. I've knocked on thousands of doors to make sure people are okay. We've helped people who are down and out, people that are homeless. We have reached out to people for years trying to help them get on their feet. We started that in 1999. In 2005, we opened up the Dream Center, the Las Cruces Dream Center. We opened it up, and we opened a facility up that people could come to and receive help. We ran a food program over there that has since been turned over to Fishes and Loaves, to where we could make sure no one was hungry in our community. And, you know, I went farther than that. I said, I don't want anyone hungry in our county. And we reached out as far as we could to make sure that we helped with this hunger problem that we had at that time. We opened up the facility to many different programs to go in. We had the Lions Crane reading program that we brought in to help kids learn how to read, do eye exams, and make sure that program has gone into some of the schools in the Las Cruces area since. Our program helped design the JARC program, that's a Juvenile Assessment and Reporting Center. We designed that at the Dream Center to try to help juveniles who are in trouble and trying to get that last step before they went to jail. We tried to do everything we could to help them out. I've been into the jails, I've been into the prisons, I've been into the soup kitchens, I've been into all the different areas of our community trying to see what we can do to help out people in need. One of the main things is we're helping out people in need, but it has got to be people who want help. They have to be wanting help, wanting to be helped get off their feet and get started again, get a job, maybe find a place to stay, whatever the case has been. We didn't just start. We've been going at this for 20 years hard. I since sold my restaurant, sold what I had, and put all of it into trying to make a difference at the Dream Center. It's a debt-free program. We have it there to try to make a difference. That is now where my life is spent. I spend my life 7 days a week at the Dream Center. We help families. We help different organizations come in. You know, we invite organizations to come in who are wanting to make a difference in the community. You know, to get started and help and set up an organization, people always think that all these organizations and ministries we see that you just go out and it starts. No, it could be a costly process. What do? We help them by facilitating a place for them to start and meet. We have helped several programs come into the Dream Center, help them get their programs established, and then send them out into, when they're able to make it on their own, they go out on their own to make a difference in other parts of our county. House of Pain. In 2005, we invited Joe Hidalgo. He was a retired art teacher from Mayfield High School. A lot of people know him if they went to Mayfield High School and took art. His dream was to have a boxing gym. We said, come on in. He started the House of Pain boxing to teach kids how to box. It is going strong right now. They have 2 different sessions here at the House of Pain. They have real young kids and the teens. We have the 7-time national champion Ariana Carrasco training in that gym. Her dad has been with her since day one. They've been there since the beginning of the program. She's a national champ right now. I'm telling you, you will see her at the Olympics. She will bring home the gold medal, and she is going places. And you know what? There's many others that are fast and coming up. We interviewed Gabby, another one who has been working her heart out to be a boxer. We have, 40% of our program is girls. And you know what? These kids, you would not believe how excited it is for them to go into a boxing gym and learn how to box, get the discipline of boxing. And you know what? You see them get into such great shape. And these are kids who, a lot of them may otherwise not have any place to go. We opened it up for them to come in here. You know what the one thing about our programs are? All of our programs are free of charge. I do not charge them for coming in. They'll receive a donation, but I don't charge them. They come in and they want to make a difference in our community. If they want to go out and reach kids, I say the only thing is you can't charge them. It has got to reach the people who can't afford it. We want to level the playing field at the Dream Center. We want kids who otherwise couldn't afford it to come in. We're working on a music program to come in. So where kids who want to learn how to play music, they'll have a place to go to learn how to play music. Now, the program currently getting ready to open up this fall is automotive. Teach people how to take care of their automobile. We have a place to where they'll be able to come in. We'll teach them how to change a flat, change their oil, check their oil, how to properly, safely jumpstart a car, how to just teach them some of the basics about an automobile. We're going to teach young people as well as adults. And what's the cost on that? Free of charge. I'm going to tell you, if nothing else I have, is I've got a passion for our city. I believe in our city. I believe we live in one of the best cities in America right now. I believe in our city. I believe the only way that we can say anything about the problems in our city if we're willing to step out into the field and try to find a solution. And you know what? On our homeless problem, I am willing to step out and find a solution to this homeless crisis. And it's a crisis. We see them all around the Valley Drive area, Amador Avenue. And you know what? It's not a matter of being insensitive to the homeless people. It is a matter of wanting to go out and find out what is it you're looking for. How can we help you get off your feet and get going in life? How can we help you get? Who thinks it feels good to sleep outside right now when it's 100 degrees now? 110 degrees here soon. In winter, it gets cold. We have beautiful winters. But you know what? If you're living outside, it's still cold enough to where you're freezing out there. What can we do to help you get out of that condition and get out of that life? Why did you pick Las Cruces to come to, and just, what are you looking for? What is it that brings you here? What are you looking for? And how can we help you become a productive citizen? What can we do to help you do that? And I'm going to tell you, the city and the government, sometimes they don't have the resources, manpower, whatever it may be, to come in and fix everything. I don't work with the city. I don't work with the government. I am a ministry, a non-profit 501c3 ministry who has given my life to make a difference in our city. You know, I owned a restaurant. I owned an IHOP restaurant. 15 years I owned it. If I wanted to be rich, I could be in that business. Of course, this last year was a terrible year, but I could make my money in that industry. I made good money in it. I could go out and I could be in business. I have a degree in communication. I have a master's that I'm about to hopefully graduate with pretty quick in communication. I could be a consultant. I could go out and do many other things. There's a lot of areas I could work in. But you know what I chose? I chose to use all my education. I used all my money, all my resources. You know what I did? I put my money where my mouth was. I went and put my money at God of Dreams Center. I put everything in that. I left the restaurant industry and walked away from it in 2012 to do this ministry full time. Before that, I had worked on it for 13 years as a business owner. I worked in the ministry. And you know what I said? If I'm going to make a difference, if I'm serious about doing it, I need to step away from everything and go straight into that world and work that world full time. And you know what, today? I work it full time. I don't have a job that I go clock into and go do. All my time is spent at the Dream Center. We operate off of donations, which we gladly accept. People will give us donations. That's what we work on. I'm not rich. I don't make a lot of money. In fact, when I was in the restaurant industry, I made good money. I don't make that money anymore. I don't have the fancy house. I used to live in a mansion, 6,000 square foot home. I don't anymore. I used to buy a brand new car every 2 years, 3 years. I don't anymore. I decided that I'm going to put every bit of me, I'm going to immerse myself into our community, into making a difference in our community. Yeah, it's not something I do once a month, once a year, during Christmas, Easter. No. This is something every single day of the week. I am working to make a difference in our community. However we can help people out, we're there. And you know what? I don't ask for credit. I don't ask for an award. I don't ask for any of that. I'm just letting you know that what we speak about, when I get in here and I start talking about making a difference, what could we do to fix the homeless problem, help people stay in school. When I start talking about mental health, I'm working with Teen Challenge right now. Our goal is to have a facility to help people with mental health issues and substance abuse issues. A place in this city that'll have up to 40 beds to where people who have problems in our city will have a place to go for help. If you have a brother, a sister, a son, a daughter, a friend who needs help with a substance abuse problem, we'll have a facility they can go in and check into and get the help they need and help them get back on their feet, whether it's helping them go to community college, help them find a job, but get them back on their feet again. We're getting this free of charge. There's no charge. If you don't have that insurance right now to get rehab, to get help with substance abuse, mental health, you better have good insurance, or you better been ordered from the court to go to one of the facilities the state has. Not us. We want a facility right here in Las Cruces that takes care of our residents in our city who have those issues. Mental health, we want them to get help. I'm not going out to reach a homeless to say, well, I'll pray for you, I'll give you a box of food, and I'll help you eat, and that's it. No, I'm going to pray for you. We're going to help you find the food you need. Plus, we're going to help you get the help you need. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about what we're doing and how we plan on addressing the crisis we're in with the Mike Tejas Show. My name is Mike Tejas.
Do you suffer from rashes, dryness, flakiness, and thickness to the skin? 3A Research is conducting a trial of an investigational drug on plaque psoriasis. Subjects must be 18 years of age or older. This is an 8-week study. We will compensate you for your time and travel up to $225.
Enrolling participants now in Las Cruces. Contact our office at 575-288-1646 or visit our Facebook page at 3A Research or our website 3asites.com.
If your loved one has passed away due to COVID-19, pay close attention to this message. You could be entitled to a death benefit of over $300,000. The U.S. government has set up a fund to pay families relief if they've lost a loved one due to COVID-19. The compensation includes a death benefit and lost wages benefit. Time is limited, so we urge you to make a free phone call right now. There's no cost to you for this claim. That's 866-372-3669.
Hi folks, I'm Dave Gallus. This is your 3A Research Minute. We're here with CEO Michael Raucci of 3A Research here in Las Cruces. Michael, could you tell me the procedure of a trial?
Sure, Dave. A participant will come to our office to see if they qualify for a study. Once they qualify for a study, they will be asked to do evaluations throughout the course of a 3-month period or longer, and they'll come in periodically to see their progress and make sure they're safe and they're okay.
Michael, could you tell us the location here in Las Cruces? Where's that?
We are located in the heart of Las Cruces, 530 North Telshore Boulevard, Suite B. We have 2 locations in El Paso, and we've done so well, we had to extend ourselves here to this great community. So far, Las Cruces has been very responsive, and we love Las Cruces, so we're excited to be here.
Thanks, Michael. I hope the folks take advantage of this opportunity. That's been your 3A Research Minute here in Las Cruces. See you next time.
Hi, I'm Ray Bamberg with Here on Earth. I would like to invite you for a free hearing evaluation to our office. We've been here in southern New Mexico for 34 years helping people hear better.
Welcome back to the Mike Tejas Show. My name is Mike Tejas. That commercial, it just reminds me again the importance of 3A Research in their study, their psoriasis study. No cost to you. A checkup here in Las Cruces. You'll receive $225 for your time and travel for 3 visits. There's only a few openings left. Hey, mention the Mike Tejas Show that you saw it here. Now, we're talking about homeless. We're talking about what gives me the right to talk about such an issue. Do I understand it? You would be amazed how well I understand that. Hey, I've been there. I have family members who have been there, and I have some that are still there. I understand. I've heard these stories. Hundreds and hundreds of stories. I've heard the sad stories. I've heard all the reasons why they're there. But the fact remains, they're still there, and that story, we need to help them get past whatever that reason is and get to the next step of sustaining themselves. Get off these streets. You know, I saw a little mini documentary, and they were interviewing the manager of one of our local hotels on Main Street there, and she was telling us that the people who sell drugs in that hotel, they were asking her, well, what kind of people come here? They said, well, people with mental health needs, issues, and people with drug problems. Says drug problems, says, yeah, they come here and they can, did you know you can buy $1 worth of meth and $1 worth of heroin? One hit, you can buy it for $1. They said these guys will go out and hustle up $1 or $2 and go spend it right there on meth or heroin. How can that possibly be good? How many of you all are scared to get out of your car when you go to some of these businesses on El Paseo and Valley and you see people all around out there? It doesn't feel safe. It doesn't matter if you don't have to understand the people. What we need to understand is we, the people that are fearful and trying to help, but we're at the same time, we're scared for our own safety. We're scared for our kids' safety when they go up there. You know, who wants to be scared to go to a convenience store with somebody out there you think may cause you harm? You know what? They're homeless. I feel sorry for them. But you know what? Sometimes they can get aggressive, and they do get aggressive. And you know what? You got to think, we're a large community right here. And, you know, we are one of the most giving communities in the country. I mean, we are givers. We'll go and we'll give them money, we'll give them food, we'll give them sleeping bags, tents, and then we'll get hit to feel bad because they're still homeless. You know, rather than us feel bad because they're homeless, I'm going to ask that we get people start coming together. Contact me on my email. Send me an email. Contact me. Leave a message. Reply on Facebook, YouTube. Give us a reply there. We're going after these replies, and I will answer every one of them. But come on, let's get together. Let's find a solution. Let's meet at the Dream Center and find a solution to this problem, because the way it is right now is not working. And it's, you know what? On one of the pictures you see up there, Las Cruces is one of the fastest homeless populations right now. It's right there. You see it right on that picture, right there on that article. We have one of the fastest growing homeless populations. Is that what we want to be known for? From the green chili capital of the world right around here to the fastest growing homeless population? That isn't good enough. That is not who we are. We want to find solutions to this problem. We want to find out what we need to do. You know, we saw the newspaper this winter. We saw a kid that was homeless. He was cold. And he says, you know what? We're still humans. You should help us. Well, you know what? You are humans. You need help. But we need to know, what do you need help with? I went out and we've started talking to people who are homeless. And we will bring video in weeks to come of some of the interviews of talking to people. We're asking them, where are you from? Why'd you come down here? And you know that the weather, that's one of the biggest reasons. But we're asking them those questions. I've met them, and I'm going to tell you something. Some of those people, I saw one of these guys at Murphy's, and he's out there all the time. And you know what? I went up and talked to him, and I gave him some, something to drink. And I asked him, I said, how are you doing? What is there? Do you need anything? He said, that was the most polite man I have talked to in a very, very long time. That man was polite. I met one of the greatest artists I've seen at another corner who could sketch the most beautiful art. We got talent out there. Well, you know what? If enough of us get together and start brainstorming, a lot of these people, the talent they have is unreal. Well, let's find something that would interest them. Let's find them work. Let's get them help. If they need help on substance problem, let's find it. That Teen Challenge program, I'm praying to God we see that this summer. And you know what? Let's start getting together and let's start thinking outside the box. All you got to do is watch what all these other states are doing. Whatever the government is trying to figure out hasn't been working. It's an explosion of people. Well, you know what? What we need is we need us, the people, we the people, our community. We need people to come together and let's start brainstorming and let's think so far outside that box that there's not a box in sight on what we can do to change this problem. What? Build a bigger tent city? Does that really sound like a good solution? The Gospel Rescue Mission can only hold so many? No, let's think outside the box. Let's make something happen. And I'm going to tell you something. If there's something I'm missing, I urge you, leave a comment. Contact me on my email, MikeTeasShow@gmail.com. Let me know where I'm off the track. Hey, you know what? I can learn something. I don't know everything, and I'm always learning every day, and I need your help. Let's together take on this problem. And I'm going to tell you something. People always ask you, Mike, what's in it for you? I said, the price has been paid in full at the cross for me. I do this for one reason and one reason only. I look up. My God, my Jesus Christ. That's why I do it. I don't do it for mine. I don't do it for personal recognition. I don't want it. All I do it for is because that's the right thing to do, and I'm asking for help. I'm asking for you. Thank you very much for watching the Mike Teas Show. My name is Mike Teas.
If your loved one has passed away due to COVID-19, pay close attention to this message. You could be entitled to a death benefit of over $300,000. The U.S. government has set up a fund to pay families relief if they've lost a loved one due to COVID-19. The compensation includes a death benefit and lost wages benefit. Time is limited, so we urge you to make a free right now. There's no cost to you to claim. That's 866-372-3669.
Great. You're on the CoronaCast. Yes, we're still socially